So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again with the Real Talk podcast. You know how we roll on this channel. Make sure you smash the likes up as you enter. Make sure you share the content. Sub to JEZ'S channel, link in the description, along with Kenny's Insta. But before we get talking about football, some sad news came out today. A fellow Arsenal fan that we have all had some level of contact with, whether it be on the comment sections, channels, i.e. going on, or appearing on his, coming on mine, etc., has sadly passed away after a long battle with liver problems. And very, very sad news. Condolences to him, to his family and friends, anyone that knew him. JEZ'S, man, sad times, mate.
Yeah, it is. Stephen was a lovely fella. I went on his show quite a few times. He's been on mine. I've watched him on here, and I've seen you on his channel. And it's tragic news, mate. And I say my condolences to his family and his friends. It's the last thing you want to happen to a young man of the tender age of 29 years old. And he will be sadly missed in the Arsenal YouTube community. He used to do some great stuff, raising money for his charity. And I hear there's talk that there may well be some fundraising going on for his charity. So we'll wait in time and see when it's appropriate that will take place. So yeah, R.I.P. to Stephen.
Yeah, sad, isn't it, Kenny? We've known of Stephen for a while, man.
Well, it's very sad because I used to see him at games, because he used to come down to matches. So I've seen him a lot of times at games, and he did a lot of work with Claude as well. And so that's how I got to know Steve. I've been in his show once, but he's got my utmost respect because despite the fact what he went through, I didn't realise. I knew that he had issues with one of his liver organ, but I didn't realise the extent of how much he went through in terms of like appointments and everything, and I thought it's so sad. But knowing what I know now, for him to try and raise money for charity and use most of his out life to do that, it's got nothing but admiration for him because he could have gone under, but he decided to live his life, obviously doing the stuff that we love, talking about Arsenal, but trying to make people aware of, like I said, there's a lot of people of all ages suffering from liver issues, which are very, very dangerous. But he was trying to raise money for it and bring awareness to it. So you can't knock him from that. And it's just such a shame, for his family that that they lost someone so young, and for him as well, because he had his whole life ahead of him. There's no consolation. People might say, "Oh yeah, the good thing about he went to live through that and he had a good few years." No consolation whatsoever, and that won't be. That's to anyone. You want to live to your old age. If you leave, you've got to take him young. Then I pray for his family, but there's no consolation right now. And I don't think his family will feel any consolation. They'll feel robbed.
100%, mate. Well said, both of you. Big ups to everyone in the chat as well, man. Sharing condolences as well. JEZ'S, how's your weekend been? Obviously, we're now on Monday. Arsenal won. How you been?
Yeah, good. Another 3 points away and a clean sheet, so we can't complain about that. It wasn't pretty. We dominated Leicester to a point. We're not clinical at our finishing, that's for sure. And I think we really could get in Dennis Bergkamp to show these people how to cross the ball, because some of the arch was absolutely shocking. Those first passes at that time are poor. But I'm happy. It's 3 points. It's a clean sheet. Poor Ramsdale must have been absolutely bored out of his skin. He hadn't really had anything to do in that game. But yeah, and we move on to Wednesday night, Everton at home.
How was your weekend, Kenny? Obviously, you was at the game.
My week was fantastic. The one thing about it is when I do go on matches, especially away, so I try to make the whole day out of it, and let's not get it twisted. The whole day was chaotic when I got there. It was chaos during whilst we were watching the match. The only same thing was the match itself. But as I said before, I'm not going to go into our title because unfortunately there's a few children who should know better who took my words out of context when I used the word domination, and without some children who don't get out that much of work, but that's exactly what it was for on our part. We only worked Ward twice if you include the 2 disallowed goals, and if you exclude 2 disallowed goals. One was the goal which Martinelli scored, and then there was a shot from Saka in the second half. Apart from that, we had complete domination. But just like Leicester, there wasn't much goal incidents. But because we got more firepower, we were in slightly better form than Leicester. We were able to win that game. But don't let the scoreline fool you. We're completely dominant. I thought Gabriel Magalhaes. I think we're going to have to. Well, I'm going to have to eat my words. I don't like putting words in other people's mouths, but I'm eating my words. His performances since the new year have been nothing short of exemplary, and that was one of the best centre half performances I've seen for a long time. Grant Xhaka played really well, and he's going to get a lot of plaudits, and so would Trossard get plaudits. But the way he commanded it and marshalled the defence, because he marshalled it as well. Shake his hand. He's turned off a really, really good leave, and he's looking more like the senior partner and more like the defensive player of the season than Saliba at the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. I think he's been unbelievable since the turn of the year. And big up Jamino for the 1 month membership, man. Nothing smart to say. Just want to say RIP Stephen, legend, gone but never forgotten. Also, everyone hit the likes and subscribe. And 1 month membership for post. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Doesn't come up on StreamYard, unfortunately. So lucky I found it. But yeah, I agree. I think Gabriel, as shaky as he was at the first start of the season, like very, very beginning, he seems to have got better the longer the season's gone on. Yeah, and maybe that little break that he had, but not going to the World Cup, done him good. Yeah, because we see William Saliba go to the World Cup, end up losing in the final, but he played 40 minutes. So it was almost like he didn't get time to rest, recuperate, chill out for a little bit. Whereas Gabriel's done that, and he seems to have just gone up a level, which is good. Because it means that we haven't had to play Rob Holding recently. And the longer that happens and stays like that, the better. But Jez, let me come to you, mate. Obviously, not really a great deal we can say about this game against Leicester because it was pretty dead, wasn't it? It was pretty boring. But the one thing I'll say, and you can, you may have a different opinion on it. I think the fact that we made it look so easy definitely means that we have got over this little blip. I know we got the win against Aston Villa, luckily in the end, but now that game was complete domination. Like Kenny said, don't let the scoreline flatter anyone. That was the most easy win you'll ever have in your life. But do you think that's now a springboard to kick on for Everton? Because we ain't got a great record against Sean Dyche. And your title of your fan cam last time was Arteta got Dyched. Will that be happening again, or are we actually going to get through it now after them last 2 victories?
I think so, Lee. I think it's going to help us kick on, and I totally endorse what Kenny's said about Gabriel. I think he's a different class player since Christmas, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. And I think we seriously got it wrong away at Everton. It was just a bad day out for us that day. Everything was wrong with the team, and we've moved on. It was a great result. Leicester, I've never been to the King Power, to be fair, but I can imagine it's not an easy place to go and play. And I think that we did dominate them. It was that first half. I can't honestly think more than 3 times they got out of their own half. So that just shows what our midfield was doing to them. And that was without Partey in there in that first half. So I take my hat off to Jorginho. I thought he put in a great shift. And I'd hope this now gives the team confidence and that Eddie can get his tactics right for Wednesday night. And I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal in that game, Lee. And it's not going to be easy because we know what Dyche will do. He'll park the bus. He'll try and stop us going down the wings. And he'll try and catch us on the break as they did at Goodison. So, I'm confident. I'm going 2-0.
Yeah, what about you, Kenny, obviously, the last two games. Well, the last game was easy. The one before that, we made hard work of it, but that obviously gave us a bit of confidence for the Leicester game. But do you see the same happening against Everton, or do you think Arteta's going to have learned from that?
Well, the thing about it is that Everton, let's not forget, Everton haven't got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And one of the things that Dominic Calvert-Lewin did really well was he held the ball up really well and he gave him a bit of outlet. And he made us defend with it, especially on the front foot, because if he wasn't getting on the shoulder, he was getting in the middle where he's making himself available for crosses. Now, obviously we saw the Merseyside derby. They had a player who used to come back from obviously Sims, who came back from Sunderland, and what we call in football, he came back cold to the extent that he hasn't been like in tune with what Dyche wants. So if he plays against us, then we're going to have a very easy time because the ball's going to keep on going back. So he's got a decision to make. Does he play Mopé? Because he doesn't really fancy Mopé, but in terms of Mopé playing, obviously Mopé's not going to hold the ball up in terms of the traditional sense. He's not going to win his headers, but he is a worker. So in that respect, we got to, like I said, try and win that midfield battle, because one of the things Everton did really well is they won the midfield battle. So they're going to go like for like again. They're going to play Onana. They're going to play Doucouré, and they are going to get on Jorginho and try and stop him from playing. But I think with that outlet of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think if the ball keeps them coming back, then we put them under a lot of pressure. The defenders have got no pace, so that is an opportunity. Eddie can come back, or you might think, you know what, I want to look at that sort of false number 9 longer term. So Eddie might have to start on the bench. Either way, it's a one thing that will motivate us, apart from having Dominic Calvert-Lewin, is the fact that we've got a good opportunity to put Man City under a lot of pressure. Put that in their mind, because if we win, then they're going to need snookers. Even though it's a long way to go, they're going to need snookers. But if say we drop points, it's 3 points, then that'll give them a lot of confidence and encouragement. So we want to discourage them. But, I expect Arsenal to win. But, Arsenal don't do things that easy. I don't think Everton are going to be as toothless as Leicester. But you never know. If they play Sims up front, there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be loads of sweets. And, in fact, you're going to have the old pick and mixes if he's playing, because I think we'll win comfortably.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. And the thing is, you're right about midfield, because they lined up with 3 midfielders that weren't there for creativity purposes. They were there to destroy, and they did a good job on us. Yeah, so I don't know whether he's going to line up with that again. I'd imagine he probably will, but we need to overcome that, man. And the only way we overcome that is by playing a higher tempo, and getting off to a better start. Yeah, because that was shocking in the first half against them. It was shocking all 90 minutes against them, to be honest, but the first half especially, they could have been 3 or 4-0 up at half time.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's missed. I think a lot of Arsenal fans who have kind of missed that point. They don't want to admit that, but I think saying that the fact that they could have been 3 or 4 months shows they completely dominated us. It wasn't a case of them stopping us from playing. They had opportunities to win comfortably.
Yeah, a few people in the chat saying about should we just sit back and counter attack them. I don't think so, man. I think we just got to go and just press them. Yeah, press them, press. Like sit on the edge of their box. Yeah, make them sit on the edge of their box, which is what they're going to do anyway, and they're going to try and counter. Yeah, we need to we need to just start taking pot shots. Their goalkeeper's trash. Yeah, he plays better for England than he does for Everton. Yeah, so start taking long range shots. He does, it's true. Yeah, same with Harry Maguire. Yeah, just start taking shots. Anywhere within, just shoot on sight. Anywhere within 20 yards, just shoot. Yeah, and we might rack up 25 shots over the bar and out the stadium if Thomas Partey's playing, but the odd one might whistle in or get us a corner that we score off of, or double deflect and end up in the back of the net, or ricochet to Saka or Martinelli or Trossard, whoever's playing. Yeah, for a tap in. Just tell Odegaard, get the ball, cross it or shoot. Yeah, that's it. Cross it or shoot. Thomas Partey, Xhaka, shoot. Yeah, Jorginho even have a shot if he's playing. Yeah, because when you're playing against a team that sit that far back, and then they squeeze the middle of that pitch, they're trying to get you to cross the ball, which is playing into their hands, really, unless you've got somebody that can cross the ball consistently well. Yeah, which let's be real, we probably haven't. Most Premier League teams ain't got a player that can cross the ball consistently well. So you have to try and think outside the box. And the only way you do that is by having a shot. Like, just have a little shot here and there. Yeah, mix up your crosses. Don't just like put high curling ones in. Drill them low and hard. You know, square it back. Get in the box and drill one backwards. Yeah, to the edge of the box. Look at the goal that well, it wasn't the goal Jorginho scored, but the shot that he had, that was getting into the box and squaring it back to the D. Yeah, and like, we've got to be mixing it up. Different types of crosses. Flash one across 6 yards. Yeah, when I watch us sometimes, it is very predictable in them areas. But hopefully we don't make hard work of this, because we can go 5 points clear. And Manchester City, they looked great against Bournemouth the other day. And that's our next game at the weekend, Bournemouth at Arsenal's ground, so at the Emirates. So, you know, we've got 2 home games here. We have to get 6 points. I don't care what anyone says. Can't be dropping points against them 2 teams that are down near relegation. Yeah, if you want to win the league, you've got to be getting 6 points at home out of them 2 games. Yeah, because if we drop points to Everton, all of a sudden the nerves are kicking in. Man City, I don't know who they've got this weekend. I can't remember, but you know, at the end of the day, yeah, the pressure will then be right on us again. We can't drop a single point right now. So there we go. I want to come to the League Cup very quickly before we talk about. I want to talk a little bit more about Everton, the Everton game, and like what you guys would do with formations and all of that. But I want to talk about Europa League a little bit later as well. But Keown on TalkSport said earlier, it's only the League Cup. And yet, it's like, this guy gets more shameless by the minute. Like, I can't lie. I don't know what this guy's problem is. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people doing this. I want to come back to this super chat as well. Big up, Lee. I don't watch that channel, mate, so I didn't. But a lot of people have been saying that it's a Tin Pot trophy. When will some fans learn that football is about winning? Exactly. And this is the thing, right? When we got to the League Cup semi-final and Xhaka got sent off, I think it was, in the second leg. Was it the second leg? Well, no, it was the first leg, maybe. I can't remember. We went down to 10 men and we got a 0-0 draw up there, and then we lost at home 2-0. Yeah, if we had got through to that final and won it, these same people would be jumping for joy that we've won the cup. Yeah, top 4. Yeah, top 4. I'm sorry, mate. That is not a trophy.
No.
Yeah, and if we don't
never has been.
Well, ask Arsene Wenger, mate. He'll tell you different. Yeah, it puts it above the cup.
You know, the thing is, Lee. The reason why I take exception to both those comments, I'll start with Martin Keown. Well, I freezed my nuts off in 2018 when we got humiliated by Man City. It meant a lot to me when to win that game. And I had to wear 2 layers. At Birmingham City, I got myself wet.
Yeah, that was proper cold. That was snowing and everything, mate.
Yeah. But in 2011, I got myself wet. So again, I take exception to what Martin Keown says. And as for AFTV, well, if my memory serves me right, all their stars were at the match. They were doing interviews afterwards, where they had big crowds there. So the League Cup final didn't mean it was a Tin Pot trophy. What were you doing there with all your cameras and all of you guys getting tickets? Because every one of you were there. All of the guys were there who were doing interviews for Mr. Lyle during that period. For them to call it Tin Pot trophy is embarrassing. Save your little rivalries that you have with your mates on the Man United channels who want to get on Sky Sports for yourself, all right? Speak for yourself. Don't speak for us. Same you, Martin. The fact is, we all know that Pep Guardiola's first trophy was a League Cup. Look what he's done since then with Man City. We all know that Jose Mourinho's first trophy was a League Cup in 2005. Look what he's done with Chelsea. The League Cup is a prelude to winning trophies. Man United under Sir Alex, when he rebuilt another great side, won their first trophy with the Ronaldo, Carrick, and Rooney triumvirate, with winning the League Cup against Wigan in 2006. So please do not tell me the League Cup doesn't mean anything, all right? Don't get above your stations. We haven't won anything for 20 years. We haven't won in Europe for 29 years. We haven't won the league for 19 years. So relax yourself, Martin. You should know better. You're one of those guys that said football's about glory, and that's for the fan camps. Relax yourself. If we were at Wembley yesterday, all of you lot will be there.
Oh,
You lot
100%.
would be
If we was
filming
there,
outside
100%.
Wembley Stadium the 2 days before with your other rivals on the Man United channel. So do not tell me the League Cup doesn't mean anything, because for someone who went to those finals and was devastated when we lost both matches, do yourself a favour and turn it in. Okay, save. If you're going to be representative of a great club, then that represent us properly, or not at all.
Well said, mate. I totally agree. Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, if we do not win anything this season, we finish second, don't win the Europa League. Man United have had a better season than Arsenal, even if they win nothing else, because they've won a trophy. They've won one trophy. Yeah, we would have won none. So if we don't win the league or don't win the Europa League, we have not had a better season than Man United. Yeah, and give me a trophy, give me a cup final, Kenny. We were there in 17. Yeah, when we won the FA Cup. Yeah, against Conte's Chelsea. Yeah, I'll never forget that day. That's what the magic of the cup and all of that. Yeah, and people will sit there and dismiss it and dismiss it and dismiss it. Yeah, even managers dismiss it. It winds me up. And I see something yesterday that I was gobsmacked. I can't lie. Yeah, the winner of that yesterday, Man United, got less than 200 grand in prize money for winning it. Yeah, but then the team that can finish 20th in the Premier League is going to get millions and millions of pounds in balloon payments by getting relegated for being the worst team in the league. Yeah, it's upside down. How can you not get rewarded for winning a trophy, but you're getting rewarded 10, 20 times more for finishing last in the league? Like, that needs reforming real quick. Yeah, because I see all these teams, even championship teams, put reserve teams out in that competition. It is an absolute disgrace. Yeah, and then all that happens is it's not on TV very often. Some games are not televised. Our game against Brighton weren't on TV at all anywhere, right? And it's like, and managers then just go, oh no, it's not pointless going in that. What a waste of time. Yeah, sorry, mate. That needs changing. The prize money for that should be more than a relegated team.
But back in back us up when I was in my younger years, the League Cup, when it was called the League Cup, was classed as a big trophy.
Yeah.
Teams would fight for that. I remember going to the League Cup as a little kid, and we lost to Swindon Town, and it was like going to the FA Cup. It hasn't got the same pull, but it's gone down and down and down and down over the years, that now it's just treated as like nothing. And I think
it's a shame, though.
I think, well, the thing is, Kenny, I think one of the problems has been, mate, is over the years it's had the League Cup has been sponsored by so many different companies. When it was Milk Cup, it was like
Coca-Cola Cup,
Little's Cup, Little's Cup, Carling Cup, Rumbelows Cup. Yeah, I think
it's just got devalued, and I think it nowadays there are, unfortunately, due to the money involved in football. Since the Premier League, it's like, oh well, yeah, we'll give it a go. I mean, I think really annoyed me when we played Birmingham City, didn't we? And we lost. And I think Wenger in that cup final was so arrogant and showed such discontent to that bloody cup. He just wasn't bothered. Because Walcott,
yes, do you remember 2007, when we went to Cardiff and we played Chelsea, he took the absolute Michael. We was thinking, all right, we beat Tottenham with the kids, all right? But I'm sorry, we got a major trophy, right? And we're playing Chelsea, Jose Mourinho's Chelsea.
Yeah.
They beat us 2-1 with John was two crackers, and Walcott got his goal. The way Arsene Wenger was talking, you would have thought that we won the trophy. He wanted pats to the back because he played his kids and they gave a good account of themselves. Well, I'm sorry, when I was getting back to London at nearly 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I didn't care that my team gave a good account of themselves. I wanted to win. Yeah, you had Henry on the bench. You had Gallas who just joined for Chelsea, and they're all like hugging and kissing their mates. From the opposition. I was thinking, hang on here, I came for a win. And that's the thing. Our first trophy when George Graham reawakened the sleeping giant, everyone talks about Anfield 89. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Wembley 87 was just as great. If not probably more important, because that led to Anfield 89 and led to the George Graham years. Because if it wasn't for Wembley, if it wasn't for that beating Liverpool, in that Littlest Cup final, we may not be where we are now.
Totally right.
But some of these people don't know Arsenal history, who just want to get on Sky Sports or get a gig with Lyle. Don't understand that. They just think that they want to get a few likes and tweets. Well,
and that's exactly it, Kenny. Because at the end of the day,
it's ridiculous.
If Arsenal won that trophy, like look at the way our fans still talk about we've won 2 trophies under Arteta. Oh, he done 2 in one season because we won the Charity Shield, Community Shield. For me, that ain't a trophy. Yeah, that's a charity match. Yeah, that's what it is, right? And you get a plate for it. It's not a cup, it's a plate, right? Let's be real with it, right? But the way our fans were using that as a barometer to say the manager's insane, yeah, but then they have the audacity to sit there and dismiss an actual cup that isn't a charity cup. Yeah, I find it embarrassing. Yeah, and this all started from Wenger putting out reserve teams in that. Then Fergie followed suit. Yeah, and then after that, it was just gone. Like, it's got worse and worse and worse to the point where teams that have won nothing for 80 years, 60 years, 50 years just go bollocks. So it's worth staying in the league more than it is winning that. Yeah, and that coincides with the prize money for it. Yeah, because the prize money for the Premier League of staying in the league or even being relegated and the parachute payments, it's chalk and cheese. That money that the Man United won yesterday don't even cover Harry Maguire's wages for a week.
No.
That is embarrassing. That is a trophy. Yeah, a domestic trophy. All them Newcastle fans that travelled down and took over London yesterday, yeah, ask them if they cared about that. Yeah, they were probably all gutted on the way back. They're probably still gutted today. All them Man United fans that are celebrating, yeah, you ain't celebrating like that if you finish 3rd or 4th and don't win nothing. Yeah, anyone who dismisses these cups, mate, needs to have a long, hard look at themselves. Yeah, because the game is about winning trophies. Casemiro has won so many trophies, and Varane as well. Yeah, Varane's won World Cups. So has Martinez. Yeah, and they were standing there absolutely over the moon that they've won that cup. And then today, yeah, they'll still be over the moon, and that'll give them a boost for the rest of the season. Think the trophies they've won. Varane and Casemiro especially, they've won the biggest prizes in football. Yeah, and I just find it baffling, mate. Like, the game's gone at times. It really has. It really has. How can you decide, oh, yeah, we've bin that off, mate. Yeah, we've bin that off, so we can maybe go and win that. Yeah, we've got 50% of the trophies we can win this season. We've thrown in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally just thrown in the bin. We've said, no, bollocks to the domestic cups. We've got bigger fish to fry. If we don't win anything, Man United have had a better season than us. But who's going to cheer the loudest? Our fans if we finish 2nd and win nothing. Yeah, because it's back in the Champions League. And it really winds me up. Yeah, I am fuming about it. Yeah, I am fuming about it. Because at the end of the day, I've actually seen Arsenal win this competition. Yeah, and I've seen it being part of a cup double. Yeah, like, at the end of the day, these people that just dismiss, oh, it's the Tin Pot Cup. Like we're in a luxury position to pick and choose because we win everything. Like, oh yeah, well we win all these trophies. So what we do is we've bin that one off this year, yeah, because we've won that 7 years out the last. No, we ain't in that position, mate. The best manager in the league tries to take that competition seriously every year, and he's won it so many times since he's been here. Pep, why? Same with Jose. Why? Because it breeds the confidence to kick on and try and win another one. Somebody put a comment in: 7 of the last 9 winners of that competition and won another trophy that season.
Yeah,
that tells you all you need to know. And then you've got clubs out here that don't win nothing or very rarely win stuff, sitting there going, "Oh no, I'm going to be a snob. It's not good enough for me."
How comes? If you look at if you go back to the last probably like 20 years of the League Cup, because some people call the FA. I've got the audacity to call the FA Cup a tin pot trophy. How comes all the big clubs, most with the exception of Portsmouth, Swindon, Middlesbrough, how comes a big team has always won it?
Yeah,
teams who are either part of every team from the traditional top 6 has won all the major trophies, exception of those clubs I just mentioned: Wigan, Swindon, Middlesbrough, and Portsmouth. How comes? They seem to take it seriously.
Newcastle fan in the chat, he got in at 2 a.m. this morning. Yeah, because he travelled all the way down. Big up Spacebar, man. And this is the thing: when people you had it bang right a minute ago, Kenny. Yeah, when you said when people are calling it that, well, you'll still be outside the ground filming it, doing build up for it all week. Yeah, so
100%
for people to sit there and dismiss it, and then still go, Yeah, and if we don't win it, I don't matter. It was the I didn't. It's Tin Pot Cup. No. I'm sorry, mate. Yeah, if that's what you have to do to get a load of traction, mate, then you're doing something wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, but again, people are sitting there, and the thing with social media is most of the fans that are on social media genuinely couldn't give a shit about the games anyway. Yeah, it's all about just bantering other fans. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, especially Twitter. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, you look at the way, man, you were celebrating winning the Tin Pot Cup. Well, I'd like to be celebrating, wouldn't you? Are you happy just to not win anything then? It makes no sense. But there we go.
Lee, I swear that some of these guys on Twitter, if Man United were playing Tottenham, some of these guys will want Tottenham to beat Man United. The way they go on with their battle with the Man United fans on Twitter or on their respective shows, you know, that's the expression I'm getting. That's the impression. You know, they think that when they're at school in their schools around Wood Green, Finsbury Park, and everything, that you know that they seem to think Man United are rivals, not Tottenham, the way they went on yesterday.
Well, I actually agree. Man United are our rivals, but at the same time,
but you know what I mean.
No, that's what I was going to say. At the same time, yeah, I want to beat both of them clubs. Yeah, I don't see them. I've said this a million times. I don't see them as rivals, that lot. Yeah, it's just over 15 years and 3 days since Tottenham last won anything. Yeah, so to me, it's like,
it's always Tottenham.
No, I know it is. But like, it's like, for me, it's like that annoying little brother when you're playing FIFA with him. You beat him 99 times out of 100, but that one time he beats you, he mouths off for the rest of his life. Yeah, and it's like, fuck off. Like, but with Man United, yeah, like, they look good this season, and they ain't throwing cup competitions in the bin, and their squad's not that much better than ours. Let's be real with it. Yeah, they've been playing pretty much their best 11 in every competition. They've got West Ham on Wednesday. They're in the top 4, and they're still in the Europa League, and they've got a favourable draw away to Betis. So, listen, they could end up winning another 1, 2, well, maybe not the league, but they could potentially win both of them other cups. There's only Man City and Tottenham left in the FA Cup, other than them, really, that you'd expect could potentially win it. Yeah, take Tottenham out, they win nothing. So it's only really Man City. And if they get Man City, well, they've got 50-50 record against them this season with that manager. So I don't know, man. It just winds me up. I see these cup competition and I just think, nah, man, come on, you got to be taking everything seriously. Yeah, it breeds winning mentality at your football club, man. But there we go. Let me rifle through these super chats real quick as well. Big up to Ray. He says, I thought winning a trophy is what football is about. Watch the video of Liverpool players dancing when they won it. Exactly, bro. Exactly. I remember when we won the cup double in '93. Like, come on, man. Like, but it is what it is. It's been totally dismissed and smashed to pieces, that competition. Some fans calling it a tin pot will be trying to justify second place this season if we don't win the title. Lose them and say, exactly, that's my point. It's exactly my point. Yeah, and you know, it makes me laugh, mate. How can you justify not winning anything and come in runner-up? Yeah, but then not want to win a cup. Question for you guys, says Vegas Guy. Thank you for the super chats, people. Could there be a possibility of a northern bias in the Premier League regarding officiating, pundits and media coverage? What do you reckon? I'll start with you, Kenny. Go on.
I think traditionally, if you go back, a lot of people, I'm going to just probably go along with the majority, because a lot of people think that, you know, like, pundit football started in 1992. And if you go by that sort of mantra, then you would think that most of the pundits have been players who've played for the northern clubs in terms of Liverpool in the 90s, and a lot of Man United pundits. You got, you know, a few Man City, got the odd Newcastle Alan Shearer. So there is a kind of a bias. But the thing is that I think the Premiership, in terms of officials, there is a lot of people who are referees who are from the Manchester area, and they are refereeing games involving Manchester clubs. You know, you have to talk about Anthony Taylor. Then you've got Chris Kavanagh, you know, to name but a few. But you've got who's, you know, the guy from Wigan, Tierney from Wigan. Then you've got my guy who people consider the best referee from Northumberland. Was it Michael Oliver? So yeah, there is a kind of bias. And I think what's happening now is that because we haven't got top officials, like we haven't got top goalkeepers, it doesn't matter where you're from is if you're good enough to referee. So you are going to get a situation where, you know, geography isn't an issue. But when we had, dare we say it, when we had referees like Graham Pole and if you go further back like Courtney, Clive Thomas, it didn't matter where you lived or where you were from geographically. You couldn't someone from Manchester couldn't manage a Man United game or even the Manchester derby. But now, if you're good enough, you referee everywhere. And so, yeah, there is a bit of a bias, in my opinion.
And what about you, Jez? Very quickly before you say anything, Jez, make sure you smash the like button up. YouTube's been moving mad all day. Literally just drops off 150 people like that. It did it on Saeed's show earlier when I was on his channel. And then the screen's going all fuzzy and black screen and all of that. So yeah, make sure you are liking the stream, man. They've obviously got a bit of a bug in their system today. But what about you, Jez?
Do I think there's a bias? I've read a few. I'm not on Twitter, but I have got Twitter, and I do read things on there, and I just laugh, to be honest. The fact of the matter is, referees, you have to declare any support, and if you are found to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Showing favouritism, right, in a game, then you'll never referee that team again. And my comment I'm going to make here is totally stupid. I was an average referee, so I'm never going to ever get to referee Arsenal. I did referee Arsenal ladies in a pre-season friendly many moons ago, back in '92, and I gave them no favouritism. And I'll tell you why I didn't give them any favouritism, because they battered the team they were playing 11-0, because they were the team they were playing were absolute dog shit. So but no, I hear what you're saying, Kenny. But a lot of these referees aren't just in the Midlands or up north. There are referees from Cornwall, Devon, Somerset, Wales, London, that maybe don't always get disclosed so much where they come from. I get this thing. It keeps coming up. These referees from Manchester refereeing Manchester games. But the thing is, we have to remember now, these are professional referees. Back in time, referees used to have a full-time job and were employed by the FA. So they get a match. They would get I can tell you the facts. Back in 1990, a professional referee would get £100 per game, travel and hotel expenses. But they would potentially lose a day's pay from their employer, because if you were, let's say, working in London and you're refereeing Newcastle on a Saturday afternoon, you've got to travel up Friday, get into your hotel, get to the game, and get home on a Sunday. So let's be fair, back in time, these guys weren't making money. Now they are all professionals, and they're on about £100,000 a year. It's a different game. They cannot afford to be biased, because if they get found out to be biased, they're sacked. Facts.
Yeah, 100%. I think in the Premier League, I think there is only 3 or 4 referees that are from Leicester downwards in terms of geographically. But at the same time, you've got to ask yourself, where's the next set of refs coming from? Like, because if this is the best we've got, is there any in the Championship that could maybe be promoted next season?
I think there's a lot of people want to be refs. I think we are going to have a situation where, obviously in Europe, especially in Europe, we are going to have female refs as well, because if we've got female linesmen, then we are going to have female referees in this country as well. So I think there are people who have ambitions to referee, and I think what's happening is that we have to get ourselves in a situation where we've got to get VAR working properly like it does all over the other parts of Europe. And also, most importantly, we need to get the standards up. The only time we know when we have great referees, when they're representing us in inter-club competitions in Europe and internationals. At the moment, we need to get up to that kind of level. Last time, we haven't had like I said, the best reputation since Howard Webb got the Champions League final in 2010, Internazionale versus Bayern Munich, and he got the World Cup final, Spain versus Holland. That is when it was up there. So we need to get those levels. And obviously, Jez is right. The geographical situation is a surprise to me because I'm old school. I go back to the old school. Like, for instance, Jeff Winter, Middlesbrough lad, never represented Middlesbrough, a massive Middlesbrough fan. Mark Oliver was at Wembley supporting Newcastle, so we know. So he's kind of declared his support. We don't know anything about Lee Taylor, but we do know he's got a Manchester accent that's broader than anything. The same with Chris Kavanagh. So I think maybe that. But again, Jesus knows more about the declarations more than I ever do, and I've got to trust him because let's face it, they're not bad. Chris Kavanagh is, he's all right. Anthony Taylor. Well,
Anthony Taylor, we always do all right with, to be
fair. All I can say to him is thank you for the FA Cup
finals
against Chelsea 2017, 2020, sending off 2 Chelsea players. We both won 2-1 with him. So, Anthony Taylor's my best mate.
Yeah, same. I don't know why, but this is the thing. It's not a dig at Vegas Gunner who put that chat in. It's a good question to ask. But there's a lot of fans that every referee, and I asked this to Saeed the other day. I said, do Man United fans, the big accounts for Man United, do they tweet out who the ref is for the upcoming games? He goes, no, I don't see them doing that. I was like, well, it must just be an Arsenal fan base thing then, because every time we have a game and the ref's announced, it's a meltdown. And it's like, well, okay, I'll tell you what then. Why don't we all fucking do a poll and decide which ref we want then? Maybe you'll all shut up then, because for me, the ref is just the ref. Yeah, for me, I don't see any bias on the pitch from referees. Sometimes I look at matches and I think, fuck me, that was a foul. Yeah, but it's not given. Yeah, then you see the replay and it was definitely a foul and it weren't given. But there was a game the other day. It was the Arsenal Leicester game. Some of the tackles that were flying in, it was just play on and it was for both teams.
Lee, I've got a point. I've got a point about that.
I think he's given that for no reason. Why is he giving us that? It makes no sense.
I've got a point
to me,
about that game.
Go on.
When you're in it, you know what I get. At first, I have no empathy with our fans who say, "Oh yeah, referees." But when you're in that stadium, and I finally took notice of referee.
The ref's the enemy straight away.
It's very, very easy. It's very, very easy to get caught up in that because when Suter, and Saka have coming together in the first half, you're thinking, I'll scream for a penalty. I said, ref, and I'll call the referee all that. And then Dermot Gallagher goes and backs me up today on Sky Sports when he said that was a penalty. So maybe
I don't think that was a penalty.
Yeah, I didn't think it was, but because I wanted to win that badly, and
you're calling for everything.
Influenced by my mates. I was screaming for every decision. But
100%, mate, we've all done that. Every time a player gets touched, everyone's screaming, ref. Yeah, that's what you do. But when you're at the game, you have to have that mentality because it helps your players as well. But when you're sat at home watching it on TV, I don't sit there screaming about the referee. Yeah, if I was at games and I've been at games, I'm on the ref all the time. Yeah, because for me, you're there to support the team. Yeah, and by being as loud as you can and calling out everything and kicking off about everything, whether it's yours or not, I think that does help sometimes. But yeah, it's mad. Before we wrap this up, guys, make sure you smash the like button. I'm on with Dan Potts in a bit. Mr. B, I'll come back to that in a minute, mate. The media is more biased than the refs. Yeah, see, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But it don't help when you've got idiots that represent Arsenal, ex-players that represent Arsenal that chat absolute crap like Martin Keown. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, it don't help. And if we, when you look at the Man United representatives on Sky and all these other platforms, they're pretty much bigging their team up all the time. Yeah, they're not dismissing competitions, but when there is a time to call stuff out, Roy Keane calls it out. Yeah, Gary Neville will call it out, even though I don't like Gary Neville. Sometimes he will call stuff out. Yeah, but Roy Keane does it. Graham Souness does it. When you look at the Arsenal ones, they're going to back their team. Of course they are. Yeah, but they don't tend to call any of the crap out of the football club. Whereas I think that other representatives of other clubs that are on TV and high profile, I think the majority of them pretty much do. Whereas for Arsenal, I just don't see that. Yeah, it's almost like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. Everything could be fine. Yeah, then when it's not fine, it's, well, look, we can't compete with all this money that Chelsea have got and all. just excuse. Roy Keane says it as it is. Yeah, whether you like him or not, if Man United need a berating, he'll berate them.
Yeah,
he don't care.
Arsenal, you have to be nice. You have to be nice.
Yeah.
You can't be horrible because it'll upset the team. And, you have to be Mr. Nice Boy and Mr. Popular.
Well, Ian Wright's the biggest one. Like Ian Wright, he's so desperate to be loved by England fans whenever England are playing. He's desperate to be loved by Arsenal fans. It's like I'm one of you. If I wasn't on Match Today or on ITV, I'll be in a terraces with you. And you've got to take Ian Wright as well because he probably would be, but he's very, very much. We'll never see him criticise an ex-player who plays for Arsenal, a player who currently plays for Arsenal, or someone or the club itself, because he is highly thought of as one of our biggest backers in the media, regardless of how bad things are. Which for a lot of Arsenal fans, that gives him lifelong membership at a supporters club. For someone like me and you, all three of us, it's irritating because we want us to be better.
Yeah, it is 100%, mate. Totally agree. I don't know why YouTube's bugging out saying I haven't even got a thumbnail on this. I don't know what's happened with YouTube today, but I am on with Dan Potts in a minute, people. Before I get on that, Jez, very quickly, before I come to Kenny after that, give us your little thoughts on Sporting Lisbon, mate, in the next round of the Cup.
Sporting Lisbon, yeah. Are we away? We're away
first.
Yeah, we're away first, which I always like that. I think we'll get over there. If he doesn't dismiss this European trophy, because he just says, as I've seen some idiots, it's more important to win the Premier League. Yeah, I get that. I do get that. But it's also important to win a European trophy. For a club the size of Arsenal to have won two European trophies in our history is disgusting. It's disgraceful. So no, we've got to go for it. And I want a full team out there. And I honestly think we'll win that game. I'm going to go 2-0. And I'm then going to think we're going to come to the Emirates. I reckon we'll do them 3-0.
Wow, that comfy, yeah? What about you, Kenny?
Well, that's facts. I can make myself look an idiot here because I'm getting all those facts.
No, but at least you're being positive, Jez, because apparently we're negative all the time.
No, that's facts that's come from Strasbourg Steve, Newcastle fan who comes to my channel, who actually does watch European football. He'll watch 4 games at a time. So I will go with the information he's given me. If it's all wrong, Stephen, I'm coming for you.
Go on, Kenny.
Well, the thing is, I'm going to be my usual rat, take up my usual rat army persona, and say this is one of the biggest Benzano skins we've had this season. Because let's not forget, Sporting Lisboa, we're in a group with Marseille, Tottenham, and Eintracht Frankfurt. And the last day, all 4 of them could have gone through into things where Spurs were actually Lisboa were leading. They were leading that table, only for them only they know how they gave the tie away to Frankfurt because Spurs beating Marseille. So it was quite a toughish group. So I've got to give them the respect. And I think the way we're playing, we're still out of the woods, but it depends who he plays. If he doesn't play his full side, then we're going to get absolutely hammered out there. To the extent he might have to play the full side in the second leg, but it depends how seriously he takes it. If he so much as wants to shadow box in this competition, then we're going out in this stage. We're going to get absolutely beaten up out there, and they'll just put men behind the ball when they come to us. Because let's face it, they had they actually snatched the Europa League from the jaws of the last 16 in the Champions League. So they are something to watch, but. Obviously, Strasbourg, you've seen him since then, and maybe they saved their best performances for Europe as opposed to the Premier League in Portugal.
We'll end on this as well. Did you watch the T20 final, Kenny?
I saw the highlights. Australia just have to turn up nowadays to win tournaments. That's the winning.
What you got coming up, Jez?
Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, weekly podcast with Mr. Lee Gunner, Kenny Ken, and maybe Gracie May if she's around. Nobody else. But we're going to talk about. I've got some ideas I've already written down to talk about tomorrow night. So we're doing it tomorrow night. Obviously, Everton we're playing Everton Wednesday night. Kenny will be at the game. I'll be watching your watch along, Lee, and then fan cams player ratings after the game.
What about you, Kenny?
Well, on 6 o'clock tomorrow with JEZ'S. Tonight, I don't know what. Tonight, I might. Depends what's happening. If there's any boxing shows going on, it's going to be very hard for me to, break down what I saw last night. But I can confirm that I'll leave one thing. One thing I do. I know. I'm very critical of your industry. Sorry. Thanks to Terence Flewers, I've got to call you guys part of an industry. But one thing I do admire and respect all of you, even the people I don't like, you're very, very good at getting yourselves out there and promoting your stuff. So I shake all your hands. I don't like all your content, YouTubers. I think that you are businessmen rather than fans. But the way you promote yourself and the success you've got to do it, I think a lot of people who are in the media got a lot to learn from you guys. So I respect to you that. In terms of that, because they all made, both of them are not great fighters, but they probably made 10 times more than any boxer have made in their whole career. So you've got to shake their hands.
I think the
first was
7 million. Mate. I think it was 7 million.
Yeah,
so.
Some established boxers will only get 10% of that if they're lucky.
Mad, isn't it? But there we go. Listen, we are wrapping this up. I'm live with Potts any minute now, so make sure you come and join in for that. The link is in the chat. And then after that, I'm straight live with Henry Wright as well. Tomorrow, I'm back on here at 1 p.m. I'm on with Flewers tomorrow. I don't know what time that'll be. Probably about 3:30. Then I'm back on here with Rants. And plenty of content to come. And I'm obviously on with JEZ'S tomorrow as well at 6 p.m. So you got me 4 times tomorrow, 5 times today. This is the third of 5. And you're not going to be sick and tired of watching me by the end of this year, that's for sure. But make sure you sub to JEZ'S channel, link in the description with Kenny's Insta. Pinned comment is my second channel. Let's go and check that out. And I'm going live literally in 2 minutes with Dan Potts. So we're out of here, people. Adios, amigos. Ciao.